Have you ever wondered if you can play an Enhancement Shaman from World of Warcraft in Diablo 4 that procs crazy Wind Fury auto attacks and is super tanky and procs random shock spells? Does like 40 plus level differences from its own level? Well, sit back and enjoy. I'm gonna show you this Enhancement Shaman build that I theory crafted in Diablo 4. As you have seen at the beginning of the video, I was only using my basic skill, which is called Arc Lash. And now, how Arc Lash functions as an enhanced shaman in this build and how this build works completely as an enhanced shaman, I'm gonna go through everything, including the gear that I have, aspects, skill tree, Paragon boards, and so on. And of course, the seasonal powers from Season 2 as we have right now. So Arc Lash's modifier functions as Wind Fury. As you can read down there, it says, if Arc Lash initial swipe critically strikes, it swipes an additional time. The same does Wind Fury in World of Warcraft, but Wind Fury doesn't proc off your crits. Wind Fury has its own 30% proc chance, but this is similar as an Enhanced Shaman, or let's call it a Shaman build in Diablo 4. So I'm spec'd into Enhancement Shaman. So let me show you the full power of this build. I didn't even equip this at procs random shock spells, and I didn't equip Ball Lightning as an enchantment. This is not a Ball Lightning spec. This is not a Ball Lightning spec. This spec is fully spec'd into basic skill, which we're gonna go through every single ability that I use. We're gonna go through the skill tree and all the passives that I have. So let me show you now the full potential and the full damage of this build and how this build works. So you just hold down your left click and you spam crazy auto attacks, crazy numbers. As you can see, you can barely see on the screen what's happening. There's only numbers. And then if you have to, then you use your, like, okay, I don't have a core skill, I use mastery skill. I only use Ball Lightning because Ball Lightning fulfills the full fantasy of playing an Enhancement Shaman, or let's say Shaman for the sake of the video, in Diablo 4. So you're gonna have your shields. Like Ice Armor will be like your, what was it called? Water Shield in World of Warcraft. You're going to have your Lightning Shield like in World of Warcraft. And of course your Wind Fury, your basic skill, your auto attacks. This build got me into World Tier 4 with level 56. Into World Tier 3, I went with level 38 with this build. So I'm going to show you now the whole gear aspects and what stats you should prioritize. So the stats that you always try to prioritize is damage to close enemies, damage reduction from close enemies, and if you can get generally any kind of damage reduction, and that's include like damage from ranged enemies as well. And of course, total armor max life is really important because you're going to be melee all the time. You're going to have like barriers as well. As you can see, look at this, I have 4.6k barrier, like I have like 90% of my HP, which procs of every single ability of mine that I use, besides of course Ball Lightning and Arc Lash and Unstable Current. Any defensive ability I use, I gain always a barrier. So I have like every 2-3 seconds, I have like 90% HP barrier. Plus I have some of my Vampiric power as well. So, stat priority, as you can see, max life, total armor, damage reductions all the time. Aspects as well on your gear is going to be always basic skill, grants you damage reduction, as you can see, because we always use our basic skill. That's our main ability, that's our main damage where it comes from. This is a unique that I got. I changed because I used to have a barrier there at the chest slot. So this is really OP. Teleport close enemies and pull them to you and stuns them for 2.9 seconds. Super OP because we do a lot of damage to stun enemies. And we fill the stagger bar as well really fast. Lucky Hit Chance is prioritized as well, because the Lucky Hit Chance procs some stuns. You're going to see in the skill tree. And I have this chance to heal as well because I have like tons of Lucky Hit Chance. I'm going to show you that as well. Deal 6 increased damage aspect is really OP because you stand still all the time when you melee the boss, which is super OP. The Veer Mastery Key passive, really OP, grants you damage reduction to close enemies, like super OP. Lucky Hit Chance, when you have a barrier, you're going to have tons of barriers all the time. Like always going to have barriers on, you see. Every time, like even have like full HP barriers as well. The weapon, as you can see, is always going to be a two-hander The attack speed doesn't even matter because you're always gonna have like 100% up attack speed, which you cannot exceed more than 100% attack speed, which is really, really sad. Paragon is always like basic skill damage, but I didn't roll a proper, as you can see, their stat. I have damage to distant enemies. I tried to re-roll that, but I couldn't because I re-rolled the first stack that says like critical strike damage to lightning abilities, which is really good. Try to replace this item. But as you can see, close enemy, core skill, which I don't have. I proc core skills like from my other aspects that I have and from unstable currents. Basic skill attack speed is super OP. I try to build their basic skill damage, but I cannot find any item with basic skill. I'm so unlucky right now. As you can see, damage reduction while injured. All defense skills, really important if you can find any ranks for defense skills that rank you up. The aspects is really important. While unstable current is not active, your shock skills have like chance to trigger a free cast, which means you're going to proc every single lightning ability from your auto attacks. As said, really OP, plus you swipe an additional time, which actually gives you even more chance to proc this and more chance to stun and all. It's really OP. I took ball lightning aspect for that orbits around you because, as said, this is an enhancement shaman build. You want to have the fantasy of playing a World of Warcraft character, and a World of Warcraft character, shaman character, has a lightning shield that orbits around you and damages enemies. So this is almost a complete World of Warcraft character, shaman character builds, as you can see. Better generation is really OP. Try to prioritize that as well. Unstable currents, chance to cast an additional shock spell, like really OP as well. Like you proc like tons of skills you have seen before, and procs like stupid amounts of random abilities. Like I'm melting everything. I can do Nightmare Dungeons like 50 without any problems. I actually did some Nightmare Dungeons level 50 I'm going to show you later on. So that's the gearing, the aspects, and the stats that you prioritize. Now we're going to go through the Vampiric powers, which our main damage comes from. Don't mind this, I changed some items. I didn't see this before the video that I don't have the pack active, but this is going to be active anyway later on. Doesn't have like these two. Yeah, these two are not active. It's going to be later on. So you're going to have like tons of cooldown reduction for every basic skill. One of our active cooldowns is reduced by 2 seconds. We attack like for like 2.5 times a second when we have our full proc of our attack speed bonuses. So each second you're gonna attack 2.5 times. So this reduces 2 seconds of your cooldown every like 1.5 second, if you can calculate it as well. And you're gonna have like tons of cooldown reduction and reset your cooldowns. Really OP. This is the main Vampiric power that I go for. That's why I started this build. That's why I like this build. That's why I enjoy this build. It's just super OP. Hitting an enemy with basic skill grants you 4 attack speed, 10 seconds, stacking 5 times, 20% attack speed. Upon reaching max stacks, you enter a Vampiric Blood Rage, gain 160% basic skill damage and movement speed. Really, really broken. Like 160%, it's like from 3.5k, it's like 7-8k damage plus the crits. Like as you have seen, I do like 35,000 damage procs like 3-4 times in a row. I do like 100k damage like every second or something, or let's say 2 seconds. I do a lot of damage. This is the basic skill proc. It's really OP. It swipes like 2, 3, 4 times a set and roll. Super, super important if you play this build. This is really OP as well because we have tons of lucky hit chance. I have like almost 50% lucky hit chance at this level, but not even fully min-maxed gear. I don't have the best gear right now. I don't even have the best Paragons because I'm still testing this build. It's in a testing phase, but it's really OP. That's why I wanted to make this video. As said, I do like 40 level difference right now. Chance to increase your attack speed, of your movement speed, really, really important because we have like tons of movement speed, which gives us from different Vampiric powers and plus aspects, and you're gonna see the whole build in skill tree as well. Casting mastery, macabre, whatever, rat skill, and we have like mastery skill here. It's our ball lightning. Calls bad thunder attacks enemies for 2.5k damage and 30% stun, which is really OP. So we have like tons of stun from our arc lash and plus this Vampiric power as well. And of course, since you're melee all the time, this is really important. After not moving for 3 seconds, you gain a better maximum life. for every 20 seconds. Like, as you can see, really important. If you don't have any cooldowns ready, you only use this because I leveled up. I didn't have everything that I have right now, so that's why I used this at the beginning, really OP. That can be changed out for something else, but I still didn't min-max this build. As said, I'm gonna try to do a different build as well when I'm ready to show you the whole potential of this build at level 100. So I still don't know what perfect aspects I'm gonna pick in Vampiric powers, but these 4 are your main Vampiric powers. This one can be changed as well. Maybe this can be changed as well for something else, but I don't see right now why will I change this, because I have like permanent barriers all the time, as you see. As you've seen, my characters glowed into barrier. So that's the Vampiric powers. Now let's go through the skill trees. The skill tree is Arc Lash, as you can see. Obviously, pick our main skill. The prog with critical strikes, main attacks, like does like tons of damage as well with that, like procs like 4 or 5 auto attacks as well. The movement speed gives us even more attack speed. Probably gonna change that later on when I min-max the build, because you cannot have more than 100% attack speed. It doesn't go even beyond that, so maybe can change it into something different. But since I leveled, I picked this as well, really OP. I didn't pick any kind of core skill, which I actually should if you ask me. Right now I'm in a sort of a endgame build, and I proc a lot of shock spells, but you can actually go like full spec into core skills because you're gonna proc them all the time. I said I only leveled with this build and I never had any problems leveling with this build. I actually even got even higher, better with this build since I got ball lightning aspect and the aspects with the unstable current if it's not active that procs random skills. So I even got even stronger with all those aspects. So I never needed a core skill. I just used basic attacks. My whole leveling build was basic attacks all the way to level 35, 36 since I went into the Capstone dungeon at level 38. Then I had to pick something because obviously the bosses do tons of damage. I didn't pick the what's called modifiers on anything because, as said, still not perfectly min-max, but right now it's super fine, this build. You're gonna see some random videos that I played through this whole build, how this build works like and how really crazy it does. So I didn't even need this, which is actually really good if I will pick this, but I was just leveling, as said. Flame Shield, obviously, gonna give me what's called barriers because that's what I need at the beginning. Teleport, obviously, as well. I picked Ice Armor for the barrier better generation, and the mana as well. After that, I got Ball Lightning, it uses a lot of mana. Didn't pick this because we didn't have any vulnerable. I actually got vulnerable like 15 levels ago because I have in a Paragon point an enchantment that does like vulnerable when it procs abilities. I'm gonna go through that as well. Lucky Chance, obviously super OP, really broken. You need this all the time because you're gonna stun, you're gonna proc like tons of abilities as well. Damage reduction against elites, super OP. Cooldowns grant you maximum life. Set cooldowns, we have this, this, and this. So always gonna have like max life barrier. Like that's what I said. Always gonna have barriers on because I'm melee all the time. So if you play this build, you're gonna be melee all the time, and you're gonna have like tons of barriers. You need survivability as well because if you do nightmare dungeons, like it's gonna be absolute one shot. You can get one-shotted, but if you have a barrier, like you have like almost double your HP every time, like absolutely unkillable as well. Boss's Belt as well, don't forget it. Every 100 mana I spend, I gain damage reduction. Now, the mana I spend, I picked this since I got Ball Lightning, because 2 Ball Lightnings give you like automatically this ability, because it's like 50 mana to cast this. Yeah, you see that? Barrier have like 50 increase duration, as you see, really OP. I spec'd into Ball Lightning. I said this is not a Ball Lightning build. Don't think this is a Ball Lightning build. Like, Ball Lightning is not even your main damage. Your main damage is your basic skill. It's everything spec'd into basic skill. Increase the rate by your attack speed. You have like max attack speed. Close enemies 50 times. You stun. Orbits around like crazy. You're super fast. You're gonna stun anyway. Shock skill, chance to proc like Crackling Energy. I didn't like Crackling Energy. I said I wanted to have like a full World of Warcraft character. That's why I picked this for the fantasy of playing this build. Stun enemy, really OP. You're going to stun all the time. I said the staggering bars are filling up all the time. That's why I picked this. Obviously, your ultimate is going to be Unstable Currents. As you see, procs random shock spells, like really OP. That's why I said you should probably if I min-max, I'm gonna level all my shock spells into max because it's gonna be super good. But this is, as I said, this is a beginning build. I'm gonna have a different build video for this, but this is just a starting build. Increase your attack speed. Obviously, I want to get tons of attack speed to see what's possible to do, how much attack speed you can get. As said, you cannot go over 100, so you can actually skip this later on. Crackling energy, if you didn't pick that up. Should have actually picked up, but I don't like moving, you know. The problem is, if you pick crackling energy, you have to move, and then this doesn't matter because you moved away and you don't stand still, this aspect. You see, if you stand still, you get 30% damage. Is really important. So increase your critical strike chance, resets us for getting critical strike. As you said, you're gonna have always critical strike. I have like, I don't know, I have like 50, 40, I don't know how much critics I have. I'm gonna show the stats later on. Like, this is like permanent critical strikes, really OP. Resets up on crit, like you're gonna always crit. You're gonna proc always your auto attacks from your arc lash. That's why I picked this, super OP. Enemies deal 15 less damage after critically struck by you. As said, crit build, proc arc lashes, damage reductions. Like I have it, I think with my full procs of everything, I have like 150% damage reduction, something like that. I don't know what's the cap, don't get me on that. Critical strikes with shock skill increase your movement speed, more attack speed. It said, that's why I picked this. Maybe I can change it later on and go into core skill damages in ranks. Lucky hit chance, shock skills have up 9 chance to stun enemies. I said, like, the stagger bars are filling super fast, and we have like tons of damage to stun enemies as well. And obviously close enemies, the Veer Masters, it's really important to take this. Close enemies take increased damage from shock skills and deal 20 less damage to you. Critical strike increases bonus by 25%. Super OP, super fun to play. This build even gives us like damage reduction from our, where is it? There we go, from this one. So I'm basically having like 40% damage reduction with this just already. Let me show you now the stats. So the crit chance goes all the way up. As you can see, I have basic 30%, really OP. Critical strike damage with lightning, really superb right now. Lightning damage really high as well. Close enemies 100%, really OP, as you can see. Lucky hit life, yeah, that's what we proc from our stat that we have here. I have tons of armor, as you can see at this level. Plus the damage reductions, like I'm basically not taking any damage. I said I do Nightmare Dungeons 40, 50, 60, whatever you want you can do. Tons of attack and life as well. At this level, this is really good. You can even go higher if you have like the proper stats, proper items. As you can see, I have like level 63 items, 55, and so on. Like these are not the best items I can get. But this is what I got for now. This is how I enjoy right now. It can get even better with this build, so. Damage reduction for elite, yeah, this is basic. There we go. Where is damage reduction damage reduction with barriers, like super OP. Like you're gonna have barriers all the time. Where's the lucky hit? There we go. Lucky hit chance 32%. With the lucky hit chance with barriers, this is gonna be permanent because you use defense skills, you get a barrier. You use your ice armor, you get a barrier. Like every time, plus the vampiric power gives you a barrier as well. Like super OP. I always have like 50% almost lucky. 38, 32, 16, 48% lucky hit chance. Like almost 50% lucky hit chance every time, and procs everything. Like every 2 attacks, 3 attacks, procs everything has a lucky hit chance. So that is the whole build. Includes the skill trees, includes aspects, gear, stats, priorities. I'm going to show you the Paragon. It's not perfect. As said, it's still not min-max, but I focus around damage reduction in life, as you can see in non-physical damage. As you can see, max life, there we have max life. Non-physical damage is your lightning damage because it's not physical. Doesn't matter, it's better to pick that. I could have actually gone here to the resistances if I want to go even higher, but as I said, it's not min-maxed. I'm going to theory craft this these days as well when I get level 100. The glyphs damage the close enemies. Obviously, you gain damage reduction against close enemies. Like I said, I have like tons of damage reductions. Like I think I have like almost 150, 160 damage reduction in general. Max life, obviously, that's why I picked this. Should have picked this by, I didn't have enough dexterity back then. Still, I said, still not min-maxed. Damage reduction, while I have barrier on, really OP. Critical strike, 30%. Increase your attack speed. With the lucky hit chance 32%. With the lucky hit chance with barrier, you use your ice armor, you get a barrier. You use your ice armor, you get a barrier. Like every time, plus the vampiric power gives you a barrier. Like plus the vampiric power gives you a barrier. Like every time, plus the damage reduction from our stat that we have here. I have tons of armor, as you can see. Like I said, I have like 50% lucky hit chance every time, and procs everything. Like this is our not the best items I can get. But this is what I got for now. This is how I enjoy right now. It can get even better with this build, so. As you can see, where is this? I didn't pick this up because I wanted to have something different. There we go. Enhancements are stronger because, as you can see, the enchantments are Arc Lash, reduce your cooldowns, really OP, Ball Lightning, stuns as well. Like I said, the stagger bars are going really high, as I've seen at the beginning of the video. And I always try, I said, like non-physical damage, max life, that's what I try to get. And as you can see, I don't have enough intelligence. I said this is not perfect build, but I'm gonna be there very soon. I'm gonna update this build. So that's the whole build. If you like an enhancement shaman in World of Warcraft, you're gonna like this build in Diablo 4. As said, like I really love enhancement shamans. I used to play enhancement shamans in World of Warcraft my whole life. Like I played in TVC, I played in Classic, only PvE, never PvP'd. I love Vampiric procs. I love like double, triple, 4, 5 times attacks that procs like huge numbers, as you've seen. It's really, really, really broken, really OP. It procs like hundreds and hundreds of times. I mean, just look at this. This is a whole fiesta. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when I upload some new videos. Join me on Twitch TV. I stream daily, Europe time, 23 o'clock, 11 at night, or 15 o'clock US time, if I calculated right. On Twitch TV/Mugen Shinryu, I stream World of Warcraft SOD very soon. I stream Diablo 4, sometimes League of Legends, and leave a comment. Let me hear your opinion about this build, how this build can be properly min-maxed. I really like to hear suggestions. I really would like to hear your opinion about this build. And let me hear if you try this build. Let me hear you out if you try this build on your own, and tell me how do you perform with this build and how did you like this build. And see you in the next one, Legends.